I'll be your tutor for today. I'm going to be taking js2 on a subject agricultural science. I'm not just going to be taking js2 because I know it's not only js2 students that are watching me, parents are watching me, and everybody out there, they are watching me. So join me in this ride and it promises to be fun. Okay, our topic for today is forest. Forest. Remember I told you that the subject is agricultural science and our topic is forest. Okay, now what's a forest? I know the first thing that's coming to your mind is wild animals. Yes, I understand, wild animals. Okay, and those thick, tall trees, okay, lions and everything. Now, good. Now, let's take the definition of forest. Now, what's a forest? Do you know what's a forest? I know you are trying to tell me that forest is bush and when we see wild animals. Okay, now, forest is an ecological habitat. What do I mean by ecological? It's an habitat where living things and non-living things interact to coexist and stay together peacefully and in a harmonious way. Okay, now we say that it's an ecological habitat where the vegetation consists mainly of trees. Okay, that one I know, we'll not forget that one. Bushes and animals, not domestic animals, wild animals. Okay, I'm going to take that definition again. So a forest is an ecological habitat where the vegetation consists mainly of trees, bushes, and wild animals. Now, there's something you have to know about forest. A forest can be derived. A forest can be derived. It can also come naturally. That's artificial and natural. Now, I've given you a first definition. I'm going to give you another definition just to prove to you that a forest can be derived. Okay. Now, a forest can also be defined as a large area of land covered with trees. Are we getting that? Trees, bushes, either growing wild, okay? We didn't plant them there. They're just growing there on their own, or planted for some purposes. Yes, we can. So you see that a forest can be derived. We can get forest. We can actually form forest. Okay. Now, let's take that down. Let's just take that down. Remember, we said that the definition of a forest is that a forest is an ecological habitat where the vegetation consists mainly of trees, bushes, and animals. We can also say that forest can also be defined as a large area of land covered with trees, bushes, either growing wild or planted for some purposes. Now, having said that and having known that and having taken that down, we're going to be looking at the uses of forest. Why is it that the forest is important? What are the various things that we use the forest to do? How is man benefiting from the forest? What is Nigeria benefiting from the forest? What is the world economy if they have a forest? How is the forest important to them? Let's take that down. Okay, like I said before, after we've taken the definition of forest, we're going into the uses of forest. Why forest is important? Okay, number one, we say it provides timber for making planks. It provides timber for making planks for furniture, for making canoes. It also provides pulp for paper making. I hope you know that the book we're using, the raw material is actually from wood. Okay, it provides pulp for paper making and matchsticks. Okay, number two, it is a source of fuel. It's a source of fuel. Okay, and then number three, provision of food. Provision of food. Food in terms of animals and food in terms of plants. Okay, it is a home for wild animals. Yes, well, of course, you should know that not all the animals can be domestic animals. Not all the animals can be farm animals. It is important that we should know and take note that we have wild animals and there has to be a very good habitat for them to thrive. Okay, now it is a source of foreign exchange. Source of foreign exchange. Number six, provision of medicinal herbs. Provision of medicinal herbs. Yeah, there are herbs in the forest that we use for making drugs that we take to cure one ailment or the other. Okay, number seven, we say provision of employment. Provision of employment. In Nigeria, for instance, we have forest reserves, and in that forest, in these various forest reserves scattered all over the country, we have people working in each of these forest reserves. All right, yeah. They are there to preserve, to guard wildlife so that they don't go extinct. Okay, number 8, it serves as wind breakers. Number 9, it prevents soil erosion. Yes, that's very, very good. It's important to know that a forest prevents soil erosion. Number 10, it purifies the air. Well, of course, you know that plants take in what? Carbon dioxide, and they give out what? Oxygen for you and I to survive, so we should give kudos to them. Okay, number 10 is that it beautifies the environment. It beautifies the environment. Now, if you take an aerial view of a place, if you take an aerial view of a place, you're going to love it, especially areas where we have these forest reserve. It's actually very, very beautiful. You see the greenish, landscape and everything. It's actually very beautiful. Okay, well, the next one is that it serves as tourist centers. Yes, if you visit some of our game reserves, some of our forest reserve, you will notice that it serves as tourist centers. Talk about the Omo Forest Reserve in Ogun State. It's actually very, very beautiful. Some of these forest reserves, when you go there, you see some of these beautiful waterfalls. Okay, it's actually a very, very beautiful sight to behold. Okay, now number 13, sorry, it reduces atmospheric pollution. It reduces atmospheric pollution. Yes, definitely when they take in the carbon dioxide, it has a way of purifying the air, releasing good air for you and I to take in. It reduces atmospheric pollution. Number 14 is that it provides raw materials for industries. This one is very, very important. There's so many raw materials that's coming from the forest. So many raw materials coming from the forest. So many of them. So many. Hides and skin from wild animals. We have a timber. We have the bark of some trees that are very, very useful and very, very economical to our country. Okay. And number 15 is that it is used for research purposes. Like if you're a student of botany in the university, you will need to visit the forest. If you're a student of zoology, you will need to visit the forest for your plant research and your animal research. Okay. Now, we're going to look at the vegetation zones in Nigeria, their resources, and where they are located. That's the next thing we're going to be doing now. Yes, we're talking about the vegetation zones in Nigeria and of different types, from north to south, from east to west. We have different vegetation. Haven't you wondered why you have something like the rainforest? I don't have rainforest in the north, but you have rainforest in the south. All right. In the north, you have very, very dry and arid region, but you don't have something like that in the south. Yes, they are all there as a result of the different types of vegetation zones, or what we call belts, in the country. Okay, now there are different factors that led to these different vegetation belts. We have factors like rainfall, temperature, relative humidity. We have the topography of the soil. We have human activities on land. Now, talking about Nigerian vegetation or Nigerian vegetation zones, we have, I want to take from the south down upwards. Okay, now we have two major categories. We have the forest and the savanna zones. We have the forest and the savanna zones. Now, under the forest is divided into mangrove and rainforest. Mangrove and rainforest. Mangrove and rainforest. Okay, I told you that we have the mangrove and the rainforest. Now, it can also be called mangrove swamp forest. Mangrove swamp forest. Now, location where you can find this type of forest, we can find this location in Port Harcourt, in Warri, in Uyo, and in Calabar. Now, what can we find? What type of trees can we find in this type? We can find tall trees, woody trees, white and red mangrove. Yeah, you see it in such types of forest. You see that in such type of forest, mangrove or swamp forest. Now, we also have animals in such types of forests. We have snakes, we have birds, crocodiles, alligator, we have tortoise in such types of forest. Now, most farmers in these areas are mainly fishermen. They are mainly fishermen. Well, of course, I've told you that it's on the riverine area. You know, they are mostly fishermen. Now we go to the rainforest. We go to the rainforest, which is the second category. Under the forest zone, we go to the rainforest. Now we can find rainforest in Nigeria, in Benin. We find in Saple, in Akure, in Ibadan, and we can find in Abeokuta and Aba. We can also, there are some other places too where I have not mentioned here. Okay, now characteristics of this kind of forest is that it has tall trees with buttressed roots, evergreen and broad leaves. Okay, it's actually a thick forest. We have trees such as obeche, yeah, we have iroko, we have the walnut, mahogany, rubber, very good rubber. You see it predominant in such types of forest. We have the oil palm, the coconut, and the kola nut trees. We also have food crops like the yam, the cassava, the maize, rice, cocoyams, and beans. Animal found in such type of zone in West Africa includes the dwarf goat, the sheep, the Mutulu breed of cattle. You should know by now that cattle have different breeds, okay? The Mutulu breed of cattle, birds and antelopes, snail, monkeys, deer, the giant rat, and the grass cutter. Okay. Moving further, we have the Guinea Savannah. That is under the Savannah zone. That's under the Savannah zone. Right. You know, I told you previously that we have the forest zone and the Savannah zone. So we have done explaining the forest zone, the two zones we have in the forest zone. We are moving over to the Guinea Savannah zone. Now, we can find the Guinea Savannah somewhere around Enugu, Lokoja, Ilorin, Makurdi, and then Osogbo, and some other places to be I have not mentioned here. Now, characteristics is that the trees are tall, okay? The trees are tall, they are scattered. We have few short grasses. Some are tall, some are short. We have trees, the trees are deciduous, trees have thick barks, the trees have long taproots because they have to reach down into the soil to get water. Okay, now the largest of all the vegetation belts in Nigeria is actually the Guinea Savannah. Take note of that, it's actually the Guinea Savannah. Okay, we're moving further, we are going into the Sudan Savannah. So yeah, as we're climbing up now, you can see that we are going into gradually we're encroaching arid zones, dry zones, okay? Now, Sudan Savannah. Now, this vegetation belt is found in Sokoto, Katsina, Kaduna, Kano, and Dushe, even Bauchi. You will see that kind of vegetation there. Okay, characteristics is that it has short, numerous grasses. The presence of scattered and short deciduous trees, plant species including the acacia, the date palm, silk cotton plants, and the boab. We can also find that there. Okay, we're moving to Sahel Savannah now. Sahel Savannah. Like I said before, Sahel Savannah. And the Sahel Savannah is located in Maiduguri and Damaturu Ferry tri-arid region. Okay, it has short scattered grasses, okay, presence of short and tough shrubs, trees. Grasses are fewer, poorer, and in patches. That's to tell you that the amount of rainfall in such a region is very, very minimal compared to the rainforest. So if you have lots of rain in such kind of zone, you will know that the trees, they will do well. But this time, we are talking about scattered grasses, we are talking about short and tough shrubs and trees. So you know that goes to tell you that rainfall is actually very, very minimal in such a place. I think rainfall there is scanty and falls within 3 months. Yeah, it falls within 3 months. It's very, very scanty. Okay. Now, let's not forget to talk about the montane vegetation. Montane vegetation, yeah, what does that tell you? Remember Jos, right? Yeah, the montane vegetation, very, very peculiar and very beautiful atmosphere, very beautiful vegetation. Okay, montane vegetation. We found that in Jos and Adamawa, especially in Jos, yes, especially in Jos. A little bit of it in Adamawa. Okay, it's associated with highland areas. It has very trees. At its windward side, okay, and what comes to your mind when you talk about Jos? Yes, the plateau. Yes, the plateau. The plateau comes to your mind, and it's very, very good for farming vegetables. Very, very good, rich soil. Okay. Okay. Now we're talking about the vegetation zones in Nigeria and their location and their resources. Okay, I've explained that, I've mentioned their locations and their resources. So these are the vegetations. We have the mangrove swamp forest, we have the rainforest, number 3 the Guinea Savannah, number 4 the Sudan Savannah, 5 Sahel Savannah, and 6 the Montane Savannah. Now, having said that, we're going to forest management in terms of forest conservation, or what we want to call wildlife conservation. We're going to forest management. Now, what is forest management? How can we manage our forest? I know that's very dominant. Say, Mr. Mas, just a way of how we can manage our forest. Okay, you're very, very close. Now, forest management can be defined as the way, all right, or method by which we can improve and preserve our forests for future use. Well, of course, we don't want some of these things to go on extinct. Okay, now we want them to be there for us to see, for our children to see them, for our children to see them, not just showing them pictures, but we want them to be there for them to see. Okay, we say forest management can be defined as the way or method by which we can improve and preserve our forests for future use. Now, having said that, there are ways of managing the forest. There are ways of managing the forest. Now, number one thing is what I want to call forest regeneration. Forest regeneration. Okay, now this involves rejuvenating the forest. All right? I know I'm speaking grammar now. You picture dictionary close to you. Okay, this involves rejuvenating the forest. Now, if a forest is to survive, are you there? If a forest is to survive, young trees need to be continually developed to replace the old mature ones as they are cut down. Take for instance, we have a forest, or you have a forest, I have a forest. Understand? Now, as these trees grow, as they grow to maturity, before they get to maturity, we are already, making plans. What I mean by that is that we already have nursery for other plants, so that when we are felling these trees, we'll bring in the ones from the nursery to replace the one in the forest. That's what I mean by forest regeneration. Okay, now when we do this process is known as regeneration. Number 2 is selective exploitation. Selective exploitation. Now, if you have a forest, or I have a forest, we don't go cutting or felling. I don't want to use the word cutting. Take no students, I want to use the word felling. We don't go felling all the trees. What I mean by all the trees, the mature ones and the young ones. No, we don't do that. That's wrong. We select. How do we select? We select by taking note of their age, their height, and their growth. That is how we select. From there we can detect the matured ones. That's selective exploitation. So we select and we pick these ones, the ones that fall under the category, and we fell those ones, and we can use them for whatever we want to use them for. Allow the young ones to grow. Okay, number 3 is rotational exploitation. Rotational exploitation. Now, how do we do this? Now, if we have a land, a forest land, now, we'll divide that land into different partitions. Okay, into different partitions. Now, when we fell trees in one of the partitions, we're going to give room for other ones, other partitions to develop. By the time we come back, now it takes years for it to come back to the first partition. If it's a very large forest, it takes up to 40, 50 years for it to go back again to the first partition to fell trees there. Okay, now there is the one we call self-seeding. Self-seeding. Now this involves the disperse of seeds by various natural methods. We've done seed dispersal, where we talk about natural phenomena like the wind, carrying seeds. We'll talk about water carrying seeds. We'll talk about animals like birds carrying seeds. We'll talk about humans too carrying seeds. Okay, now the seeds germinate to replace their parents when they are removed. Okay, now forest reserves. Like I told you earlier that we have forest reserves scattered all over the country. We have forest reserve. Now, this is a piece of land set apart for the preservation and preservation of economic plants and animals. Now, take note, in forest reserve, it's owned by the government, so there's nothing like illegal hunting and there is nothing like poaching. If you go there to do that, you'll be arrested, you'll be caught and thrown into jail. Okay, we have afforestation. Afforestation. Now, this means establishing forests in areas where there has never been any afforestation. Planting of trees to form a forest is afforestation. We also have the one we call the Tongia system. Now, this system is where the forest trees and food crops are planted together in the same piece of land. So instead of destroying the forest to do your crop farming, you can also plant on that same piece of land where we have those trees. Number 8 is the uses of trees with tillering ability. Number 9, reseeding. We have the one we call reseeding. This involves the scattering of seeds of desirable tree species in the forest to enrich it many years to come. By the time they'll be growing, you may not be there, you may not even know it, but they'll definitely grow if the soil is fertile. We have reforestation. Reforestation is the organized planting of trees to create forests in areas which have lost the forest characteristics as a result of bush burning, that's human activity now, farming, and indiscriminate tree felling. Okay, now let's take that down. Okay, we've listed the ways of managing the forest, and we've also explained what forest management means. We say forest management can be defined as the way or method by which we can improve and preserve our forests for future use. Now, I've explained the ways, I've listed them on the board for you to see. We say forest regeneration. Number 2, selective exploitation. Number 3, rotational exploitation. Number 4, self-seeding. 5, forest reserve. 6, afforestation. 7, Tongia system. Number 8 is reseeding, and number 9 is reforestation. Now, having said that, what are those activities that affect the forest? What are those things that we do that affect our forests? Okay. Now, number 1 thing that we do that affects our forests is what we call deforestation. Deforestation. This is the destruction of forest trees without replacement. And this is very, very bad. Destruction of forest trees without replacement. Okay, well, if you know that if you do that, you will not see some of those trees again. Okay, we're talking about bush burning. Bush burning. This is a major human activity that affects our forest. Bush burning. This destroys so many species of plants and animals. The another thing that we do again is hunting and poaching. Okay, poaching is the illegal hunting of animals in the forest. Illegal. I told you earlier that when you're caught, you're going to be arrested and you might even be thrown into jail because it's illegal. It's against the government policies. Okay, the 4th one is farming activities. When forest land is to be used for crop production or grazing animals, the trees are cleared, thereby eliminating the forest. Now, in terms of farming activities, we can use the Tongia system just to preserve our forest instead of felling all the trees. Okay, I hope you understand all what I've said, and I hope it's a very, very interesting. It has been a very, very interesting topic. Okay, I know you're having fun. There is no dull moment when it comes to agricultural science. We learn a lot. Okay, now it's time for assignment. I'm going to put something on the board for you to do for me, and you write the answers down and submit back to me in school. Okay, let's take that now. Okay, these are the activities that affect our forest. Okay, number 1 is deforestation. Number 2, bush burning. Number 3, hunting and poaching. Number 4, farming activities. Number 5, industrialization. Yes, we're talking about the improvement of science and technology. So that makes our forests to disappear because we want to destroy all the trees and maybe or set up an industry there. And well, they say that everything that has advantage has a disadvantage. Okay, now this assignment, something you have to do for me. Write it in your notebooks and bring it to school. Now you're going to explain 4 influences of forest on the environment. How does the forest affect the environment? Does it purify the air? You know, those things. When you go to the uses of forest, you see some of them to pick from there. Okay, number 2, I have some terms here which you are going to define for me. You explain them. Okay, so define the following terms. Number 1, A is afforestation, B, deforestation, and C is poaching. Okay, it's been an interesting topic, forest. Very, very interesting. I hope with these explanations and I hope with what you've learned today, you will know and you will see that the forest is actually very, very important part of our lives. In fact, part of our livelihood, and for our ecosystem to survive, forest doesn't have to go extinct. Even if we have to make progress in terms of industrialization and all that, we still have to preserve our forest. Well, of course, that's why we have the forest reserves. So until I come your way next time again, be good boys and girls. And for the adults which you've learned one thing or other, you can also transfer what you've learned in practice and maybe tell 1 or 2 persons. It's been fun, it's been jolly, it's been interesting. While I'm teaching, I also have learned. Okay, have a nice day. See you.